So page 17, Roman numeral, we're on 26 now. It talks about solving equations for an indicated variable, okay? So let's just talk about what that means. So yeah, this, you don't recognize this, A is the perimeter formula of a rectangle. But here's what we want to do. So that equation starts out solved for P. And so I want to adjust that and solve it instead for W. So the idea is basically you treat W as the X, so, we usually solve for X, and treat the others like constants. And so we basically, what that means is you want to isolate the W on the side by itself. That's what that means. Get the W on the side by itself. All right, so if you look at the right side, I've got the L term and the W term, so I need to get that L term to the other side. And so the way I would do that is subtract it. So the first step here is subtract that L term, subtract the 2L. And of course, that being a P, you can't combine those. They're two different terms, not like terms. But that does get me 2W by itself, and then 2 is times the W, and so to get rid of the 2, you divide. And so P minus 2L over 2 equals W. All right, so that's the idea. Isolate the variable it wants you to solve for. So B has, well, an even simpler one. Maybe we should have started with that one, but B, we've got D equals RT, and so let's solve that for T. So this is just a one-step deal, isn't it? To solve for T there, it's R times T, so just divide by the R. D over R, pretty simple. That's the distance rate time equation. All right, so a couple more. So C gets into the square root equations, all right? So you do the same things for those equations as we've been doing with when we just had just one letter. This just amounts to having more than one variable or letter. Solve that for A. It's solve for R, so solve for A. What do we do? Square root equation. Square both sides, yeah. You got a square root equation, you square both sides. Because that, now, it's a little different because it's got the square root on that side, but it's the same thing, isn't it? Square both sides to get rid of that square root. So we've got R squared equals AB, and again, now we're like the previous one there. We're solving for A, so we've got to get rid of the B. Well, it's A times B, so you've got to divide by B. R squared over B, that equals A. So compared to several others we've come across, these are not that bad, in my opinion. Hopefully, agree. All right, so a couple more of these, and that's. I think on the assignment there's a couple of these. Yeah, so a basic linear equation, two variables is what we've got there, and they'll want you to solve these for y. Just get y on a side by itself instead of having the x and the y on the same side. So there's my y term. I've got that 5x term. I need to get rid of it, so subtract it to get the 2y over here by itself. This side, Of course, you can't combine 10 and 5x minus 5x, so you either write it 10 minus 5x, or if you like the x term first, minus 5x plus 10, that's okay too. And then divide off 2. Now what I point out here, can I cancel that 10 into that, or 2 into that 10? No. You can do them separately, so we could leave it like that, or we could do them separately, 10 divided by 2 minus 5x divided by 2, and make that cancel to be 5, but just cancel the 2 out right there. No, you just can't do that. So I'm okay with that one. You just want to leave it there since it doesn't simplify on both of them. Is that okay? And then the last one, just enough time here to go into that one. So E, in Roman numeral 26. X equals A over B plus C over D. One of our rational equations we just talked about. And so the idea is, since I can't do the proportion thing here, cross multiply, do the LCD. What will be the LCD here? Well, you got a denominator B, you got a denominator D. BD is our least common denominator. What do we do with that? Multiply that by both sides, or all parts. Multiply by BD. So we got XBD times BD, then we got A over B times BD, and then we've got C over D times BD. And then cancel things out that we can. Oh, I forgot to say here what we're solving for. Any one we solve for, that's definitely what we're going to do there. So let's solve for B. You can solve for any of them, but B I think is like the one they have you do in the homework here. Solve for B. All right, so we've got XBD equals, the B cancels, so we just have AD. The D cancels here, so we have CB. So yeah, this is definitely the most complicated one so far we've had, because notice we got B here, we got B here. We got 2 B's. Well, we need to have those B's on the same side, so that's first of all, what we do, get the B's together, so subtract the CB. To get it with this B. All right, and so the next thing, yeah, once we have the B over here, then we can factor off the B, make it XD minus C equals AD. And so then that's B times something, so you just divide off that thing there. This is just times B, so that'll cancel. If we divide it, it'll cancel it out. So there you go. B equals AD over XD minus C. Question or concern?